So the Alliance's market-based approach is built on three core strategies: strengthening supply, enhancing demand, and enabling the environment. To give you some examples, strengthening supply is essentially trying to foster innovation, to build the capacity of different businesses, manufacturers, distributors, and providing them with adequate financing to get off the ground. And having an inclusive value chain, which means including women, humanitarian populations, and other important groups. Enhancing demand entails raising awareness about the importance of this issue and making clean cooking solutions more accessible and affordable to people. Enabling environment essentially refers to anything that we need to do to make the clean cooking vision come about. So that involves creating quality, efficiency, and emissions standards, and creating the testing methods that allow us to test stoves, as well as working on research that gets us to where we need to go in terms of strategy building, sorry for a little technical issue there. Research in terms of strategy and determining what the needs are and where, as well as working with government and other policymakers to create the policies that are going to enable this market to come about. Next slide. I'll try not to spend too much time on this, but I wanted to give some examples of the activities that we've done over the past couple of years in each of these strategy areas. So on the supply side, we've worked on investing in this sector. So we've built 2 grant programs, Spark and the Catalytic Experience Program, which are designed to essentially give clean cooking businesses the startup capital that they need to get off the ground and then eventually become self-sufficient. The next iteration, Spark Plus, is designed to provide risk-tolerant capital to businesses that manufacture and distribute clean cooking technologies. Supply is taking companies to scale. So last year we launched a $4 million Clean Cooking Working Capital Fund, which the grantees can use to expand their production, distribution, and customer support. And this was done throughout Sub-Saharan Africa, India, and Latin America. Fueling growth, this is a bit of a pun. This involves the identification and extension of fuel supply chains, such as and different clean and efficient options, and supporting their greater reliability and availability. Excuse the typo right there. Right now we're seeing some progress with LPG in India and pellets in a couple other countries. It also means boosting fuel production and distribution. So supporting producers and distributors through capacity building, helping them evaluate and analyze their value chain, set targets, and optimize those goals in a sustainable way. Next slide. Just to provide you with an overall picture of our fuel and technology approach, the Alliance is fuel and technology neutral because we don't particularly want to, at this time, exclude any particular technology. So our way of doing this is on the left side we have sort of mass fuels, the clean ones, and we improve their use by developing stove technology that uses these fuels more efficiently, so they're improved through processing. In the middle, you can take those fuels that are on the left and create them in a better way that makes them burn more efficiently, regardless of what stove you're using them in. And then on the far right, we have our more advanced technology fuels here, or your LPG, electric, solar. And the goal here is to improve the supply, distribution, and affordability of these models. So essentially this is about, even though clean and efficient is the goal, we recognize that it's not, you're not going to get there right away, and to take the market where it's at and move it along. Next slide. On the enhancing demand side, we work on building awareness and changing consumer behavior. So the Alliance has a behavior change communication program, which conducted campaigns in Bangladesh, Ghana, Guatemala, and Uganda. and these are designed to influence consumer purchasing decisions and encourage the use of cleaner cooking options based on whatever message works best in that location and to that group of people. We've also, in terms of launching larger scale interventions, supported a couple of recognized leaders in behavior change in Bangladesh, Kenya, and Nigeria to extend their outreach using tools like reality TV shows, radio dramas, mobile messaging, and other aspects. And then on boosting consumer marketing and communications, we recently started the Enterprise Marketing Fund with grants in Bangladesh, Guatemala, and Kenya to build brand recognition on stoves in general or specific stoves by designing promotional campaigns via radio, live demonstrations, and community outreach. We just had one finish up in Kenya, which is called Shamba Chef, that essentially is an extension of a different show called Shamba Shape Up, and involves a couple of consultants coming to different homes in Kenya and helping them figure out how they can not only create their home agriculture, do it a little bit more efficiently, but also upgrade their cooking. Next slide. Lastly, innate environment. The Alliance has a research team that has commissioned and conducted studies examining the impact of the cooking can have on liquid fuel, on children's health, both on the side of using three-stone fires and biomass fuels to what happens when you, in fact, change to it. And the findings are expected to more clearly establish the health benefits of clean cooking and attract additional engagement. Emerging evidence suggests that reducing exposures to household air pollution not only promotes improved field development and child health, but can also protect against the development of chronic respiratory conditions in adulthood. Prescribing clean cooking for health refers to our working with the health community to increase training for public health professionals on recognizing household air pollution related issues. And one workshop on this in Ghana. And then lastly, our research team also works on the environment side, and we've recently finished some research in India and China on outdoor emissions. In India, 30% of outdoor particulate matter pollution is from household emissions. In China, we found that efforts to reduce household air pollution have been considerably more effective at reducing overall air pollution than efforts to regulate emission, transportation, and power sectors. Next slide. We've also done coordinated advocacy with governments across Africa and Asia. This goes back to the standards and labeling side, asking countries to create favorable trade environments and policy environments to allow clean cooking to flourish. So this includes the elimination of taxes on fuels and imported cooks, as you can see that Kenya and Bangladesh have done. Another example of, on the standards and labeling side, launching labeling programs, in this case in Ghana and Uganda, to help educate consumers on different stoves and what their options are for cleaner and more efficient. Next slide. And I would be extremely remiss if I didn't give credit to my own program. We have some cross-sector programs on gender and humanitarian issues. On humanitarian issues, the Alliance is working to coordinate not just clean cooking actors, but all actors engaged in providing energy access to displaced people. That includes refugees, IDPs, and those affected by natural disasters. And we do this as part of the Safe Access to Fuel and Energy, or SAFE, working group. In our role on SAFE, we conduct global advocacy to persuade not just the aid community, but also the UN to make sure that energy isn't as a formal part of humanitarian aid, as it's not currently. We provide technical assistance to UNHCR and other organizations to design strategies, and in the case of UNHCR, design procurement standards for cookstoves to make it easier to get them into the field. we hold annual workshops to build capacity for NGOs and relief agencies on cooking in their settings, conduct research, in our case specifically on gender-based violence and its relationship to clean cooking. And we have just a few weeks ago launched our first Humanitarian Clean Cooking Fund, which is designed to support the scale-up of successful cooking solutions for refugees and other displaced people. On the gender side, essentially we're trying to mainstream a gendered approach or women's empowerment approach throughout the clean cooking sector, because the evidence is very, very clear that incorporating women not just into the supply chain as users, but also as